Namaste, my name is Shailaja and I welcome you all to the Kundalini Guide YouTube channel. Today I'll be talking about the different kinds of bondages a person is born into. A person born on earth is not a free soul. He is born to become a free soul. So every person who's born on earth is born into bondage. The goal of a person is to come out of this bondage while he is in his physical body, because this is not possible after his death. What causes this bondage? Bondage can be caused by many different things. It's our past karmas that bring us to resolve that issues, that bondage in this present lifetime. It can be the thoughts, the belief systems we hold, the desires. So a person, because of all of these things, he gets caught into behavioral loops. And the behavioral loops keep the drama in the life continuing. And many people cannot come out of these behavioral loops. They feel powerless. And hence, all their life, the same themes continue. And these themes continue because we carry a bondage. We are indebted to resolve our issues, to resolve family issues and resolve certain issues at the societal level, because the earth has given us a chance for the human life. The family we are born into has given us a chance to experience human life, and so we are indebted to our family and society for giving us this opportunity to experience life. We all hear the word karma. What is the meaning of karma? It simply means action, your actions. But the action does not happen at the surface level. The source of your action is deep within your subconscious mind. The material, the motivation for an action comes from deep within your subconscious mind. Even your most impulsive actions, though they might seem impulsive, they are still coming in from your predetermined belief systems or your past experiences. Therefore, your subconscious mind plays a big role in how you think and how you behave. All the karma that has accumulated over many lifetimes is stored in your causal body, and this is what creates bondage for you. So what happens when you clear away your bondage? When you clear away your bondage, you come out of suffering. You come out of the cycles of life and death. You become a free soul. So the knowledge of this bondage is important so that you know that you will not fall into traps of further bondages in life. The three types of bondage a person has to clear while doing his inner work are the personal bondage, the ancestral bondage, and the societal bondage. As I was saying earlier, a person is indebted to his family and the society for giving him this human experience. And a person is never born a free soul. He's always born into bondage. And the reason why he does not remember this is because the programming of this Maya or this illusion or this matrix is that it causes forgetfulness. We cannot access our subconscious mind where all this information is stored. We only use part of our conscious mind while working in the external world, and the remaining part of our brain is inaccessible. The subconscious mind can be reveals itself. It can reveal itself in the form of dreams. So you might get some insights if you sit and analyze your dreams as to what is happening in the dark corners of your mind. Otherwise, all these things we are not aware that this is there within our system. The personal bondage of a person is the sum total of the beliefs, the behavioral loops, his actions, all these things in the present life, plus the karmic residue of the past lives. This is what creates a personal bondage for that person in this lifetime to clear. Now, since the time a person is born, he is always trying to become something. He's trying to become a good son or a good daughter. He's trying to become a good student, a good employee. Then a person is trying to become a good wife or a good husband. He's trying to become a good man, or he thinks he is not a good man. Even that is becoming something. So all his life he goes on taking a lot of conditioning. He's trying to become something. He takes on many different identities. He takes on many different labels, and he's taking on layers over layers of conditioning. So a person is the sum total of the conditioning that he is taking on in this lifetime, and he's even creating a lot of emotional baggage for himself through memories and through interactions, and by remembering these experiences. And pain and trauma also increase a lot of personal baggage. So in this way, a person is creating bondage in many different ways. Even his desires are creating bondage and tying him down into the matrix. Even past life experiences seep into our present life. For example, if there's a person who's hydrophobic, he fears water, and he's never gotten into a swimming pool. He does not understand this mindless fear. But once he remembers that in one of his past lives he drowned in a river, he has the awareness now to deal with this fear. He understands that this fear has not come from his present life, but this fear has its roots in his past life. So now he is more capable to resolve this issue. When a person starts questioning life and he sees how he stands in relationship with others, he questions the existence of his world. He introspects, he seeks answers, he takes feedback from others. He sees how he behaves. So now he has a wider awareness to understand himself better and the people around him better. In this way, what happens is he is able to see his behavioral patterns. He is able to see that he is conditioned or programmed to think in a particular way. And because he's become a seeker of truth and he no longer wants to hide behind lies, he starts changing himself to become a better person every day. Every step he takes in that direction is removing the conditioning that is there, the layers of conditioning, like an onion which has layer over peels of layers around it. In the same way, a person's true self is covered under these layers of conditioning. So when he is taking an honest approach to life and he only wants to live life with integrity, and anything false, whether it is false identities or false ideas or false belief systems or false thoughts or false people, everything falls away from his life one by one. When this happens, the peels of conditioning are getting removed one by one. So in that way, he is clearing away his personal bondage. He is deconditioning himself. He is coming out of those behavioral loops which were caused by his past karmic actions. Our ancestral bondage is created because we inherit the DNA of our parents, that is both the maternal and paternal side. So we inherit their characteristics, their qualities, their traits, their blessings, their curses, their diseases, their name and fame. If they have a bad reputation, We even have that karmic baggage on us. So we inherit a lot of things from our parents. So what happens at this level where now a person has worked through his personal bondage? Now the ancestral patterns come into play. We start dealing with our ancestors that are hidden within our own DNA. Now, when a person is thinking, he has no idea that whatever he is thinking is getting recorded in his DNA. And all his thoughts get recorded in his DNA and they are transferred to the children. So when a normal person is just going about his daily life, his mind is chattering in the background. And he thinks that that inner voice which is constantly chattering belongs to him. He does not understand that many of the voices that he hears in his head and which he thinks that that is his voice is actually the ancestral programming that is running in the background. For example, if there's a wealthy person, he has enough wealth for many generations, but inside his mind, every day, the voices in his mind bother him. They tell him, will you get your meal next day? Or will you go hungry tomorrow? He has the survival fear. And he might find this very funny because he has a lot of wealth and there's no need for him to think like this. But if you look at his family tree, maybe 3 or 4 generations behind, his ancestors must have been poor, maybe his great great grandfather. Maybe he lived by the day. Maybe he was worried about the next meal. So that fear got recorded in his DNA and it got transferred to this person. It got transferred after 3 or 4 generations also. So now at this stage, a person must be able to differentiate the voices that come in his head, whether it is his own voice speaking or is it the voices that are recorded within his system that are just coming out. It's like a tape recorder. You record something and later on you play it on. So is your mind replaying the thoughts of your ancestors? So we carry many of our fears within our DNA, which our ancestors experienced. And at this stage of bondage, clearing this bondage, we deal with our ancestral, deep-rooted ancestral fears, their issues. Some families carry curses. Some families have bad relationships, bad marriages. Some families deal with addictions. Some families have a lot of pain and trauma. And some families are poor, they cannot get rich. So there are a lot of themes that are working in the families. And if you look at their families, I mean, if it's not just one family, but their extended family, you will see the theme playing out in most of their extended family circle too. That is because they all have inherited that DNA from their ancestors. So at this stage, the person gets the awareness, he's able to identify these themes that are running in the family, and he clears away those themes. And once he resolves those themes, he is doing it for the entire family. He is actually cleaning away the slate of this ancestral bondage for everybody else in the family. So the future generations will not inherit this issues from their ancestors. At the societal level also, we take on a lot of conditioning, and this comes from our identity with the society in which we are born. For example, we belong to a particular region, that becomes an identity, our language, cultural habits, the food we eat, the social status, the political opinions we hold, the judgments we hold about others, or how a society should function, our opinions on finances, and many other things at the societal level. They all become conditioning for us at that level. And this becomes a conditioning at that level if This is creating a behavior loop within us. But if a person is operating from a value system and not from a belief system, then the societal ideas may not create a bondage in an individual. For example, if a person is born in a region where there are a lot of tribal fights are going on, there are many different tribes and the tribes keep on fighting and they're at war and they start killing each other. So if a person is born in that kind of a society, he'll become part of the problem. But if a person, a spiritual person who prefers to live from a value system is born in that place, he will not want to be part of the problem. He may want to bring about peace because he does not want to see so many people dying in in name of fights, unwanted, unnecessary fights. He might think that let us live in peace. We don't have to die. He may think that killing his neighbor is like killing his own family. So this person is now working from a value system. Another example is in some cultures, slavery is acceptable. So a person who's born into that culture may think that slavery is okay, there's nothing wrong with it, it is a part of life. But when a person is on the spiritual path and when he's at the stage where he's clearing away the societal bondage from his system, now he's operating from a value system, and slavery goes against personal freedom and non-violence. So he will speak up against slavery. He will not want slaves to work for him. And he will tell others, he'll be very open about his views, and he will see if he's in a powerful position, he might even bring about laws to abolish slavery. That is the kind of changes people bring at this level. So when an enlightened person is reaching the stage where he is now dealing with societal bondage, he's clearing away that karma, he will try to set right some part of that society, at least whatever is there within his sphere of control or influence. He will try to work within that sphere and see how much of it he can change. For example, you have Pandit Gopi Krishna. He popularized Kundalini in the West. He was from Kashmir, and while he was undergoing his own awakening at this stage, where he was coming out of the societal bondage, he was speaking against the imbalance in gender in the Kashmiri society, because he was now operating from a value system of equality. So he did not like the idea that women were treated inferior to men. He started speaking up and telling people to get their daughters educated. He was getting widows remarried. There was a big uproar, but then he took it up at a larger scale. At this level, this person can become a reformist. While trying to reform the society, they are reforming their own inner conditioning at the societal level. So these are three kinds of bondages the person has to work through in his spiritual path. Now, once the person has cleared away these bondages from his system, the thought and emotions which were there earlier in his system are also thrown out. The chattering mind, which was constantly chattering, now goes quiet. His emotions become calm. He becomes a very calm person. He hardly gets triggered. His mind is clear. His discretion levels are high. And now he is not operating from the lower egoic levels anymore. He is using his higher mind, his higher discretion. So what happens when all this happens? The unconscious mind opens up and it reveals to him many wonders of this universe which are otherwise inaccessible to an average person. There are many paths to reach this level of unconscious mind. It could be the inner work, could be of that of self-inquiry and change, or it could be just deep meditations, or chanting of mantras, or praying to God, or it could be in the form of yoga, or it could be devotion to God, surrender to God, selfless service. There are many different paths, Bhakti Marga, Jnana Marga, there are many different paths in which a person can reach this state. Now, once he reaches the state of unconscious mind, the unconscious mind does not, it's a realm that is beyond language. It communicates with the person in the form of symbols and images. These are universal images and symbols. No matter where a person lives, no matter what culture or religion or race he belongs to, everybody sees these common images, these common symbols when they reach this level. So you can see that you have the many different mandalas, the light language, the universal symbols, which a person might encounter once he gets into the unconscious mind level. Now these symbols, if we all are aware of the QR code, if you go to a place and you need some information, nowadays we have the QR code. You scan it and the entire booklet gets downloaded into your mobile. All information comes to your mobile if you scan the QR code. This is something like that. So when a person has reached a level of inner purity, these symbols come to him. They can come in the state of dreams, or they can come in the state of visions. And these image and symbols, they carry an energetic vibration. A QR code only carries information. These symbols not only carry information, they even carry energetic vibration, which help the person to evolve even further. And they bring in a lot of cosmic wisdom into this person now, because when a person reaches this level, he is a very wise person. He is the wise man, which we talk about in our stories. And these wise people, they wanted to record their spiritual quests, and they wanted to record these images and preserve them, and they wanted to transfer this knowledge to the grassroots level so that a common man can see these things. So they have incorporated the saints, the philosophers, they have incorporated their quests and these images and symbols into our daily lives. And how did they do this? They did it very intelligently. They did it in the form of myths and legends. We all have heard many bedtime stories where the prince is on a quest. He rides through the dark forest, he kills the demons, he slays the dragon, and then he gets his prize. It could be the princess or something else. So this is similar to the spiritual quests our saints and philosophers undertook. They go within, the journey within, where we are riding through the dark forests of a subconscious mind. And then we are fighting our own inner demons and we are slaying them. And the trophy we get is the spiritual evolution. So when a person is evolving spiritually, he is not just doing it for himself. He is doing it for everybody around him. And it is making easier, he is making it easier for others to evolve by clearing away the karmic patterns at the family and societal level. So if you have more of such people evolving, the next generations may have lesser baggage to clear. So spiritual evolution becomes easier for them. Now, how did these people store this information, the information of symbols, and how did they transfer it to the next generation at the grassroots level? You can see the images here. The top images you can see are of that of in temples. In temples, you have the serpentine images, right? Here you see the top picture. You see the twin snakes rising up. They are the Ida and Pingala nadis. The Ida is the feminine energy that is present in every person, and Pingala is the masculine energy that is present in every person. Now, when these energies rise up, they intertwine, they move up the spine, and they come together. When they come together, the person has balanced his inner masculine and feminine energies, and he becomes a whole person now. Now, this is very intelligently hidden in our legendary love stories. We heard the story of Romeo Juliet or Laila Majnu. Now, the lovers, they want to come together. They have to fight their own inner fears. They have to go against their family and ancestry. They have to go against the society, and then they meet together. So, the simple stories that we hear hide a very deep meaning. And these stories affect us on an unconscious level, though at a surface level we are not aware of it. It is only when you reach a certain level of spiritual growth you can really truly appreciate the meaning behind these stories. Now, in the picture, you can see many images and symbols here. These are the images and symbols which our philosophers or saints have seen when they've accessed the unconscious mind. And because they wanted to preserve these images, they are preserved in many different ways in different cultures. So when you go to an Indian Hindu temple, you will see these images there. These are the images, serpentine images, which you will see when you are evolving. When your Kundalini rises up the spine, when a person is spiritually evolving, he will see all these images in while the process is happening within him. Maybe for a person, normal person who's going to the temple, he may not understand the deeper significance of these images. He knows that the snake signifies the spiritual energy, and that is why he is praying to it. But each of these snakes has a different meaning. A person may not be aware of the specific meaning of each image, but just looking at these images clicks something within us at an unconscious level. For that one split moment, you are reaching up to a very high level of consciousness, or rather, you're going very deep within yourself, which you would otherwise not go. Next, you see the Star of David. This is a part of the Christian traditions. And this is even there in the Hindu tradition. And the upper triangle represents the masculine energy, and the lower triangle represents the feminine energy. Then you have the Jewish candle stand. Now, it has provision for 7 candles on it. Imagine if you light 7 candles on this. This will look like the 7 chakra system within our body when it lights up. We've seen a mandala in the previous slide. Now look at this design, the rangoli, which is a common practice in South India, where people decorate their homes with this white powder, the chalk powder. This is a beautiful practice. And the mandalas are getting incorporated in this practice. So every day a person is seeing these mandalas early in the morning when he's walking through the streets. Imagine the kind of effect it will have on him at an unconscious level. The Chinese dragon, this also represents the Kundalini energy. And this is a part of the Chinese culture. A normal Chinese man, everybody recognizes this. Next comes the Egyptian statue. You will see the snake coming out of the forehead. It simply means that this person has come out of his animalistic nature. Now his Kundalini is in the Agya chakra or the third eye chakra. That means he is of divine order. It is Kundalini that transforms a person from the lower animalistic nature to the higher divine nature. In conclusion, a person is born into bondage. He has 3 types of bondages: personal bondage, ancestral bondage, and the societal bondage. And once he clears away these bondages, the unconscious aspect of this, his own consciousness opens up to him. It opens up to him in the form of images and symbols to guide him to evolve further on the spiritual path. May we all be blessed with this kind of an experience. Thank you.